Hello, welcome.
Hi.
Here we are, Beth and Stephanie at the Serpent and the Dove checking in. We're in our office
Oh,
space. Um,
I think we just went live.
well, here we are again, um, checking in at our office space at the Serpent and the Dove in Swedesboro. We've had a busy day planning out the rest of 2025, 2026, ironing out the details for retreats,
Yep.
and of course our Salem retreat that is coming up for
Yes.
in May 1st through 4th, celebrating Beltane um, at our maiden launch back in the old American Witch Tour days.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Salem is the first place that Stephanie and I went on a retreat to, and it was absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
We stayed in a
Haunted
mansion, a
mansion.
haunted
Mm-hmm.
mansion. We are not doing that this time. This time we're staying at the Hawthorne Hotel.
Yes.
We have access to a beautiful room to do our circles in and to move through our content.
It's
And
catered.
It's catered.
It's catered. So unfortunately, this kitchen witch will be focusing on content and magic creation
Yes.
while we are in Salem,
Yes.
where we are going to deep dive into this idea of the witch archetype, the witch hunter archetype, and the
Yes.
divide that happens in community when those two are left completely unchecked, which I feel is completely pertinent right now in the
It
current political
is.
climate.
No
You,
matter, yeah, no
yeah,
matter
no
what
matter
side you
what,
take,
where you are, no
you're
matter
either
what you
one or the
do.
other, and to the other, you're the other.
Yes. And you say this all the time. This is something we hear in like spiritual communities. And I guess this is like the point. I love this. There's always like, and we have used this tagline, like, come join like minded community. And
Ah,
it's like, oh,
I,
nope.
I
That's
got,
how all the isms start
I
when you're in
know.
like minded community. You need somebody from the other community,
I got called
right?
out in class
To check it.
so hard I took down my website.
Yeah.
And not they didn't tell me to take down my website, but there's so many terms that we use that are present that really lead to isolation and
Mm-hmm.
separatism and
Yeah.
racism and sexism
Sexism. Yes.
and
All of the isms.
all the isms.
Yeah, so we will hopefully, and I will say, looking at the group that is coming, it will not be like minded
It will
community.
not
I
be.
guess the only like mindedness is the openness and the goal of confronting the witch and the witch hunter that live inside of us. And hope for always self empowerment,
Yes.
self knowing, right? Know thyself. We obviously will be diving into history,
Yes.
making people cry as much as we can.
We
And
love inner
yes,
child work.
yes, all the woodwork. And also, I'm going to be diving into the folk magic. I'm going to be diving into really getting back to that American Witch Tour root of like the magic that would have been present in colonial America. Colonial America. This idea of what magic was prevalent in Salem and different types of magic. So definitely bringing in that aspect, the witch aspect as
Yep.
well,
Yep.
and what that even friggin' means.
What happened? Oh,
Your thing popped up,
what
but
that even means. So, yeah,
and the
I
history
love
of
that.
Salem. Yeah.
The hi- the history of Salem, and we're talking about all these isms. Obviously, the witch hunt was very real in Salem,
Mm-hmm.
and why is it so impressive? Why is it so important? Because it's a reflection of how Americans dealt with this kind of adversity, of how Americans deal with the lack of equality, how they deal with um, land fighting, and how we dealt with the wars with the natives, and how we dealt with English colonial rule, like all of these different pieces.
The
And
lack of access to power for certain
yes,
groups.
yes, or the lack of the ability to even speak your truth in your mind
Yeah.
in and religious intolerance. The Puritans, bless their little hearts, hated the Baptists and hated the Quakers and hated the Catholics, and I'm sure that we can go into all the aspects of that, but this was like a crucible, this perfect crucible they call it, for what happened, for the horrors that happened. And it's a model that keeps recreating itself over and over and over again in American history.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you hate today? Who's the witch today that we can witch hunt? Is it communists? Is it MAGA? Is it snowflakes?
Yeah.
Who are you coming for? Is it I'm here for liberal tears? Like what? Who are we hating today, and why are we hating them? And how is that nationalism? How's that patriotism?
And like you said, kind of like really diving into Being
America's
honest
history.
with
Yeah.
ourselves though, and being able to admit
Yes.
to ourselves what's going on, because a lot of our work that we do, a lot of work that I do, I won't say I and you as
Well,
well, but
yeah, you can
I'll use
include me
my
on
I
that.
words. Those are surfing the dove rules. A lot of the work that I do is that reclamation of the witch, and I love she's wild and authentic and sovereign, and no one tells her what to do. But in order to be that way in a constructive way, what I'm not saying good or bad, in a constructive way, one has to have a very good idea of who they are in order to be autonomous and
Yes.
sovereign and powerful. If you cannot admit to yourself who you are, where your values lie, where your boundaries are, who's allowed in your space, who's not, what like where do you draw the line, where do you use your magic, where do you use your power, who's in charge, if you can't be honest and raw with yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you'll never embody that power of the witch.
And it's a continuous seeking.
Mm-hmm.
There's never,
It's
I
not, you
mean,
don't check it off.
yeah, unless you're enlightened or
We're not.
a
I'm not.
mystic, I'm not. So it's a continual
Mm-hmm.
journey of the self, of the soul, of and history is such an important reflection tool. What does this look like in the past? How am I embracing and embodying this? And what tools can history offer me so that I can move into this, sort of having a gauge what it means to be loving in this situation? Am I going to respond to this situation in a way that I'm proud of with my children? Or I'm proud of with my grandchildren? How are they going to talk about me in the history books? And that's not an easy thing to gauge, but history gives us a lot of clues because a lot of this stuff is not very new, and especially in America.
It's not now.
It's not very
No, and yeah,
we love Salem, and Salem. This is the energy they embrace. Is that disseminating the witch hunt in all of her forms? And I
Yes.
love that about Salem. And you can thank witches for that. So
yes. So we are heading to Salem May 1st through the 4th.
yep.
It's going to be gorgeous. It's catered. It's at the Hawthorne Hotel. Hopefully not too haunted, but Salem itself carries
Salem
a lot
is
of
haunted.
heavy energy. Yeah, it carries a lot of energy.
A lot of angst and a lot of healing.
And a lot of healing. And we will be going there, like I said, to practice magic, to dive into witchcraft, and take a really harsh stock and self look right at the witch and the witch
Yeah.
hunter that are inside of us. And then after that, coming up that'll be Beltane, but then the summer solstice, we're heading back to the Landenberg Loft, and we are going to celebrate the summer solstice there.
Mm-hmm.
So take a look out for that. And I'm excited.
I'm excited, and the transformation piece for Salem
Yes.
is recognizing those archetypes inside of you, as Stephanie
Mhm.
was talking about, and how to shift through them and how to sort of fall in love with ourselves with all of these parts of us.
Mhm.
And by doing that, sort of allowing that love and compassion and grace for our neighbors. Does that sound like a reasonable transformation?
Yes, and
does that appeal to anybody?
and spell work.
and spell work. So
Yes.
there's a lot of things packed into this, and we promise there will definitely be free time this year.
Yeah.
So we
yeah.
are finished. We have breakfast. We have morning content, ritual, whatever it is we're doing. We have a catered
Mhm.
lunch, and then we just have a short afternoon
with tea.
with tea. We have tea every day, and then or coffee if you're so inclined. And then there's free time for you from 3 o'clock on.
So you'll get to experience.
You'll get to experience Salem. You can go see the last retreat we went to, all of the different places in Salem. But those are completely optional for you. We wanted to keep this very close to like what we're teaching, the experience.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to do and see in Salem. However, we love Salem, and we're really good guides for
Yeah, we'll be
how
out
to
and
get
about.
you there. And
Yes.
So, and we'll be at the Hawthorne Hotel, so you're walking distance from everything.
Everything. So I'm
I think
excited.
that's plenty.
Yeah, if you have any questions, shoot us an email. I hope to see you at Salem.
Yes.
Yeah, and then after that, we will be in full force for the summer at the
Yes.
summer solstice.
So we have summer solstice coming up, like Stephanie said, June 21st. So we will have all of that information out. That's a full day retreat.
It's a day retreat. The
9
Landenberg Loft.
a.m. to 4 p.m. We heard you guys. It's over at 4. And then we have all of 2026 retreats planned. So we will release those as soon as
We
we
get the
a chance.
website done. Yeah. And don't forget, full moon circles.
Yes, April
15th. April 15th is our next full moon circle. And our little Awaken and Act circles are
Free
yeah,
every
free, and they're
first and
taken
third
off. I love
Wednesday.
them.
We love them.
We
There has
love them.
bringing us so much peace in unlike-minded community,
Yes, taking
non-like-minded community.
the spiritual community, stepping out of, we're getting no spiritual bypassing. We are embracing spiritual activism. We are releasing hopelessness, um, and replacing it with action
Yep,
and support.
and welcoming everyone.
Yes. Yeah.
Everyone that comes in the spirit of rebuilding and healing and
Yeah.
coming together.
So I hope to see you at any of these events, and we'll check in soon.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.